I'm ranking all of the characters from the One Piece Romance Dawn arc in a tier list. Let's do this. Now, Alvida's definitely not my favorite character by any stretch of the imagination, although I do feel like her introduction in the manga is a bit better than the anime. She just throws her base right through her pirate base just because she thinks one of her lackeys is sleeping or taking a nap. Like, a lot of destruction for a nap, but I mean, compared to some of the other characters in this list, and especially just in One Piece as a whole, I'm not gonna put her in like D tier, but I feel like Alvida is like a C. Ben Beckman, I don't actually know what his last name's pronounced, but I mean, he's definitely a chill dude. I mean, all of the people in Shanks's crew are just absolute badasses. However, I got to be a little bit more picky because I have some characters that I think are going to go in S tier, and as cool as Ben is, I don't think I would put him in S tier. So I'm probably just going to put him in A. Helmeppo sucks. I'm just going to say it right now. Helmeppo sucks. He gets better, you know, and I'm not trying to spoil none. He gets better. But just in the Romance Dawn arc as a whole, he sucks. He looks goofy as hell. He's a crappy villain. He's a whiner. He just overall is just a crappy character. He just sucks. Honestly, I feel, you know what? This needs to be made. I'm sorry for any Helmeppo stands, but he sucks. The Mountain Bandit, also really crappy villain. I would definitely argue one of the worst villains in the series. I mean, he's kind of boring, but at the same time, I feel like he's so impactful because of what he does for Luffy. If it wasn't for him coming in and doing what he did to Shanks, you don't get the Bellamy scene. You don't get a lot of, in my opinion, the impact. You don't have Luffy trying to fight back on behalf of them. I mean, this dude, as much as he sucks as a villain, has influenced the story so much. I don't think that I can put him below a C personally. Now, Koby, obviously another person that was kind of a little baby in Romance Dawn, but his character development, not just as the series progresses, because I want to try and make sure that I'm ranking this just based on Romance Dawn and Romance Dawn alone. Koby has some insane character development. Koby goes from being so terrified of Alvida that he stays in her captivity and is her little chore boy baby back bitch for however long he is. I forget the duration of time. Luffy comes in and, at least in the manga, takes down Alvida in one hit. He then sees Luffy take down Captain Morgan. He sees Luffy take down all of these people. And little Koby, who was afraid to even say anything against Alvida, straight up punches Luffy in the face. And that, to me, seeing Koby develop so quickly and overcome what is essentially his biggest fear and fight for his dream that early, Koby is, in my opinion, an A tier character. Like, I'm not even kidding. Now, I'll tell you right now, I did not feel like that the first time I watched it. I would have probably put Koby in like a B or a C. You know, I was not a big Koby fan, but going back and rereading it, and maybe the difference is the manga to the anime, I'm not sure, but I feel like Koby's character development was incredible. Kinu, is there Kina? It's Kina, right? Kuina? I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry. Her father. I mean, at the end of the day, her father seemed like a semi-decent dude. You know, it's such a weird position because we don't really learn much about him, right? It definitely seems like he kind of like, he respected his daughter, he respected everybody, but he did have that traditional mindset of, you know, you can, you know, of what her limits were, and I feel like he set those expectations, but at the same time, like, he was there for her, and he definitely cared, and he allowed her to train, and he seemed like a good dad, you know, at least from what I could tell. Obviously, we don't know much. There isn't a lot that we learn about him, but I feel like a good dad. You know, I'm gonna put him in a B personally. Absolute Chad lad. I mean, this girl is such a beast. I mean, she's the reason Zoro is the way she is. I forget how many losses Zoro had against her. It was like some stupidly high number, but for her age and the character she was such an incredible character, dude. Like, I'm putting her in A tier. I think she's a fantastic character. It's such a sad backstory too, which I feel like adds to her character that much more. Like, a character having a tragic backstory, I mean, how do you not like them? Personally? Sea King, you suck. You ate Shanks's arm, but you got scared away by him too. But I'm not gonna lie, cool design. I think it's a cool character. I'm gonna put him C. It's one of those things where I feel like it's nostalgia. Like, even on our Minecraft One Piece server, like, we have the Sea King sitting outside of Fuchsia Village, and it's just a cool character, but he ain't anything spectacular. I'm gonna go right now though. Lucky Roux, absolute Giga Chad of Romance Dawn. In my opinion, one of the greatest scenes in One Piece, period. There's obviously a lot of incredible scenes, but this, I would argue, is an S tier scene. Him pulling out the gun, pulling the trigger, no questions asked, while just chomping down on that meat like no fucks given. Don't mess with us. Sit down, you baby bag bitches. Like, Lucky Roux is such an absolutely incredible character. Absolute S tier. I will go to my grave for that. The bartender, I'm forgetting her name. God, I suck. I forgot Makino's name. She's one of those characters, right? Same thing. We don't get a lot. She seems like a really nice character, really sweet. But at the end of the day, like, how much is she impacted? She was definitely there for Luffy, clearly, along with the mayor. Like, I would say that both of them, you know, kind of being there for Luffy, put them up in probably that C to B tier. I'm trying to think, like Helmeppo trash. I'm sorry. He really is. He just sucks. He's just a shitty, like, antagonist. He's just a shitty character. Like, yes, he gets better, but he's just a shitty character at this point. Makino, I feel like, is solid. She's middle of the road, right? Like, she's cool. She's not anything spectacular, but she's important to the story. She's important to Luffy, and I feel like she did influence a lot there. Luffy's S tier. I mean, Luffy is by a mile like my favorite character in the series. He's the one that I relate to the most. Like, I've said this before, but I stand by it. Like, if you don't look like Luffy, I can't trust you. You know what I mean? Like, he's such an incredible character across the board. He's serious when he needs to be. He's comedic relief. He doesn't take things too seriously. He's just there for the thrill of the adventure. He's there for fun, but he will do absolutely anything for his crew. And I mean, we see the good-natured person that Luffy is so early on, like, not just with Koby, not just with Zoro, but like everything he did for them and everything that comes after. And I know it's hard to like do a tier list like this in hindsight without having the foresight that you have, but I feel like I'd be hard pressed to find any person in the One Piece community that would not put Luffy in S tier. Captain Morgan. Honestly, I love Captain Morgan as a villain. I think that Captain Morgan is such an incredible antagonist. I would say potentially A, but I'm putting him in B tier mostly for this reason. I feel like because of how dope of a setup he has, he sets the stage, clearly sets the stage of what we can expect. This is not your traditional pirate versus Marines world. The pirates aren't necessarily the bad guys, and the Marines aren't necessarily the good guys. And we see that with the horror that everybody has instilled on them. We see it with the type of son he has, Helmeppo being the pansy-ass little hoe bag that he is. On top of that, you have just everybody fearing him killing people. Man's capped a dude because he questioned killing a kid. I mean, Morgan is a ruthless antagonist, but when it comes to antagonists, though, there's so many greater ones in the future. And I know that this is a tier list for Romance Dawn, and some of these characters may be higher or lower depending on how much further we get in these arc tier lists, right? But just based on Romance Dawn alone and knowing like the future antagonists, I think he's an incredible antagonist, and I think is a solid opening to the series. Honestly, I think Romance Dawn is pretty much the best arc up until Baratier, and then I think Baratier dethrones that personally. Little girl that took care of Zoro. She gave him the rice balls. Zoro went to jail trying to save her, killing the dog, which they censor in the anime. But same thing, right? She's important to the story. She's adorable. She's a cute kid. She clearly, you know, cares and is a good person. But I'd say it's neutral, right? She doesn't really do anything for me here nor there, right? Like, it's just, she helped progress the story. She's not bad, but nothing spectacular. We have potentially somewhat decent Marine number 1, if you don't count Koby. He lets Koby in. He obviously allows the Straw Hats or the Straw Hat and these, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Luffy and Zoro to get away. He punishes them for, you know, saluting them and letting them go, but he still let them go, right? He very clearly, like, yes, I'm a Marine and those are pirates, but those are good pirates. And I feel like he does also set that stage of like, hey, not all the Marines are necessarily all that bad. They're not all going to be like Morgan. But again, I would argue a fairly neutral character. I can't really justify putting him above a C personally. I think he's like a low C, D. I mean, it's a side character that you don't really remember, but he is important in that moment. Shanks, the absolute Giga Chad of the arc. I mean, no questions asked. He's the character that every One Piece fan wants to know more about, and we never get it. Like I've said, I'm in Whole Cake Island. I'm 800 episodes in. Minor spoilers, I guess, but not really. I still barely know anything about the dude. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those characters that just every arc you want more and you want more and you want more because his introduction is so cool. Having his squad, right? Ben just chilling cool. Like, his entire squad is dope. Ben Beckman is an incredible character. There's a reason he an A tier. Lucky Roux, again, is an S tier side character, like absolutely S tier side character. Incredible. I love Lucky Roux so much. And you combine that just having the whole squad behind him. I mean, Shanks is the captain. Shanks is what pushed the entire story forward. He was there for Luffy, almost like a father figure to him. Like, gave him the hat. The reason Luffy has the devil fruit. I mean, Shanks is arguably the most important character in the entire series. Let's be real. S tier, absolutely. Again, I'd be hard pressed to find anybody in the fan base who isn't putting these two in S tier. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that disagree with me in other spots for the others, but these. I'm also shocked I haven't had any D yet. But I feel like that's going to be common. One Piece, Oda doesn't really have many bad characters that I can think of. There's people like Helmeppo, but they're like, that's not D, man. That man going straight in the trash. The mayor. That's another C. I mean, there isn't much to say about the mayor, right? Like, he's on par with Makino. You know, they took care of Luffy. They're good people. You know, they just want what's best for him. He's just a kid that they care about. And, you know, they might give him a little bit of shit because he wants to be a pirate and this and that. But they're just good people. They're solid side characters, and they do help with the story for sure. Yasopp. Now, I'm going to try and rank Yasopp based on what we know in Romance Dawn. Obviously, I have foresight into the future of things. But early on, I feel like Yasopp, we don't really get much. I guess minor spoilers for a arc that comes up very soon in the future, Syrup Village. I can't remember if the flashback of Yasopp like telling Luffy like, you're gonna listen to me talk about my son and be really pushy of it. I can't remember if that was shown in Romance Dawn or if it was shown as a flashback in Syrup Village. I know it was a flashback in Syrup Village. I just don't know if it also was shown during Romance Dawn as well. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I do feel like this is important. I like that it's a side character that is part of a very important crew, right? He's on Lucky Roux's crew. He's on Shanks's crew. He's part of that mysterious crew. And we find out who he is related to and what his tie-in is to this. And let's not be wrong. Kind of a crappy dad, you know? Kind of a crappy dad. Although we're not supposed to know this yet. But, you know, Yasopp, one of those characters, I would say... he's probably in B or C. Again, if we're betting arcs ahead, Yasopp is going higher. Like, there's a lot of stuff I would love to talk about that I would normally put him higher, but thinking in terms of like the Romance Dawn arc, I just can't really think of anything that Yasopp would have done throughout Romance Dawn that would make me want to put him higher, right? Like, I would say probably high C, if not B. B is potentially up there. but I just feel like we don't have enough information about him from that point, kind of like with Ben. Well, I guess at that point, then why am I putting... I mean, Ben kind of sprung into action, but Yasopp did too. See, I'm having an existential crisis right now. I feel like Ben being like, I feel like Lucky Roux deserves that S tier slot, you know? And I feel like Ben deserves it too. But I feel like Yasopp deserves above a C, but I feel weird putting him in C. All right, I'm just using I'm using my bias. I'm putting him in B. I'm using bias. If we take my bias out, he's C, but I'm putting him in B. I feel like that's valid. And finally, our boy Mosshead, our boy Zoro. I mean, A or S, right? I mean, Zoro's definitely an S tier character for me now where I'm at in the story. He's been an S tier character for quite a long time. Hundreds of episodes, in fact. But Romance Dawn, in Romance Dawn, would I put Zoro in S tier? I mean, it's one of those things, right? First Straw Hat, super impactful. Absolute Chad, Three Swords style. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I think it's deserved. I do think it's deserved. I mean, I think that he had enough really, really badass moments, impacted the story enough. I think Zoro's deserving of S tier personally, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'll put a link to this tier list in the description and the comments as well if you guys want to do your own tier list, but let me know your thoughts. Tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right and what your tier list would be, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Oh, and subscribe. Yeah.